everybody, this is Angela Craig and welcome to 5 Minutes for Change. Happy Thursday everybody. Where are you watching from today? Put in the comments below. I would love to meet you if we have not met. We have over 6,000 people and many new faces, so please introduce yourself, tell where you're at, what time it is. I'm actually in Arizona today, and so if you're in the Arizona area, it's a gorgeous day. Please say hi. I'd love to meet you in person. And so let's get started with 5 minutes to change today. Every week I come with a question that you've asked. So if you have a question, I will try to tackle it for you. And this question is perfect because this month we are actually talking about what would Jesus undo. Maybe you remember the bracelets from a long time ago that said, what would Jesus do? Well, this is what would Jesus undo. So think about that as we're talking, like what would he undo in this world? And as a Christ follower, what I realize is that the things that the justice issues that Jesus would undo, those things in the world that need change the most starts with me in my heart. And so this question today is perfect for this topic. How do I forgive someone who is a repeat offender hurting me? Okay, such a good question. And so what are we going to go back to? We're going to go back to it starts with me, right? And so you can only control you. You can't control other people. So maybe think about someone who's the first person that comes to mind for you who might be a repeat offender of hurting you. And you're like, how am I supposed to live out this Christian mandate of forgiveness when this person is constantly hurting me? Maybe it's a parent or in a marriage or a child or a coworker, and maybe it's a relationship you don't feel like you can exit out of. Okay, think about that for a second. Maybe you don't have that person on the top of your head. Here's the other question I want you to think about. Who is different than you? Who's different than you? Maybe it's you turn your face away when you see a homeless person on the street. Or maybe it's someone of a different race or a different religion or a different sexual orientation. Maybe you have a lot of fear surrounding anyone who's homosexual or gay. Maybe it's someone who is white or drives a fancy car. The discrimination that we have in our own hearts for people that are different than us goes both ways. It's not just one way, usually. And so think about that for a minute, because there's something that Jesus wants us to see here. He wants us to be different as Christ followers. And that's how we change the world, is through love and what I want to call today supernatural compassion. Because we cannot love people on our own power. We can love the ones that are nice to us, the ones that are like us, the ones that agree with our opinion. But the minute someone diverts from that, that becomes a bigger challenge, doesn't it? So we need supernatural compassion. And we see this in the scriptures, that Jesus had this supernatural compassion for people. There is a word in the New Testament, and it is splankna. And that word is used to describe the incredible compassion that Jesus had for people when he saw them, when he saw the hurting, when he saw the rejected, when he even saw the religious leaders who were filled with hypocrisy, who didn't want people healed on the Sabbath, who weren't doing his work but were trying to arrest him and kill him. He looked at them with this type of compassion, and this is the same compassion, the same word that's used when Judas hung himself after turning Jesus in, and he felt so terrible, he took his own life. And they say in the word in Acts 1:18 actually, that his intestines gushed out from hanging himself on the tree, gushed out. So you think about, the writers of the New Testament are using the same word to describe the compassion that Jesus has for us when we're not healed, when we need restoration, when we are judging others, or we're living in fear. He uses the same, meaning that his guts are gushing out. Can you imagine, like, have you ever hurt for somebody, like a child or a parent or someone who's ill? That feeling where your gut hurts because you love them so much. That's what he wants us to have in our hearts. He wants us to see people, maybe that person who's hurt you, or the person who's different than you, a different, like I said, a different race, a different ethnic background, or a religion, or all those things. You can list them in the comments, I'm sure. He wants us to have that supernatural compassion, because when we start asking God to see people with God's eyes and not ours, that's how dignity is brought to the human race. That's how worth is returned to people. That is how we break division and we bring unity, not only in the church, but outside in the world. And so every single one of you has a purpose in this life, has a purpose in this church. And we want to live that out. And so we are going to undo some things this month, in the month of May. And it's going to be great to watch. And so the first thing that I'm going to work on is really becoming super aware of people that I might be judging, I might be scared of because they're different than me, or maybe I've rejected them. And so I'm going to be asking Jesus that I would see every human being through his eyes. And so I could change my thinking about it and have his supernatural compassion and love to act differently in this world. So I hope you've enjoyed this 5 Minutes to Change. I'll see you back here online, Facebook. I hope that you'll invite a friend and just come hang out with us. We're here 7 days a week exploring faith and purpose together. And we couldn't do it without you. So stay tuned for what's next. Take care.